Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be comparing the top web search engines and seeing which is the best and seeing how they look and react to my searches. So I'm going to be comparing several, and let's try to see if we can figure out which search engine is the best for you. So enjoy. So right now I'm in Google Chrome and I have the biggest search engine of all up, Google. Now most of you are probably using Google already. It's the most used by a big margin. It's pretty clean and simplistic looking. That's the first search engine I'm going to be reviewing. Then there's Bing. It's more, not as simple, but it's more colorful, more pretty, I guess you could say, but also maybe a little more bloated. Yahoo search. There's a couple different ways you can access this, but here's one of the pages. It has a graphic. Then there's DuckDuckGo, which is highly privacy-minded, simple. There's Ask.com, has news and kind of looks a little outdated. Then there's Ecosia. Whenever you search on this one, you get to help plant trees, so that's for environment conscious people. And so is Ocean Hero. That helps remove plastic from the ocean. And there's AOL search, and there's also a couple different ways to access this. This is just the search.aol.com, and it's pretty basic on this page. And I'm going to be also testing out Excite. You might not have heard of them, but not as much for looks. Looks a little basic, but they have different things like weather, news, etc. Then there's Lycos, which is also something you probably not have heard of, but they have a slideshow going in the background. But anyway, let's get into this and start with Google. This is the first one out of 10. Now there may be other search engines that I'm not going over and that you may have heard of, but I'm just going to be going over these right now. But some others include like Baidu, which is China's main search engine. And then there's the Yandex, which is Russia's primary search engine, and those are probably better for their audiences. So if you're an American or British or Canadian or whatever, just remember that. So I'm going to be using the American version of all these as far as I know, and starting out with Google. So I'm on the Google page right now. Pretty simple, clean looking. Google has many services, Gmail, bunch of other things. So like, that's a common thing with these search engines. They most likely have some other services like email, etc. So let's try searching for something and seeing how it looks. So I'm going to search for my channel name, Tech Particle, and it comes up with a bunch of different things for Tech Particle and related things. Here's my channel, and you can see some of the videos I've made. I haven't made this one, but made a couple of those others. And you can have safe search, which filters out inappropriate content. There's images, news, shopping, videos, and more that you can search for. Google even has, I think, a job search, or at least they talked about that. They have a patent search, so you can search for patents. There's maps, books, flights, finance. There's tools, settings. So that's some of the things Google does. Let's search for something more famous, like Apple. You get a little info box on the side. You get top stories, you get products, you get videos, you get maps, you get websites. So that's some things there. News, images, shopping, then there's maps. So that's Google for you. It's a simple and clean, great working browser, very popular, has a lot of good search, good answers. Like if someone is struggling with suicide, it will come up with a box that says, if you need help, call this number, and they'll try to help you recover. So that's one thing about Google that's nice. Now other search engines are probably doing things like that, but in the past they haven't been known to do that. They have nicer results coming back for you, not just basic. So that's Google. Let's go to Bing. Like I said, Bing is really more it's more looks oriented, more colorful graphic. Google's more simplistic and clean. Bing is more, has pretty images and news. You might consider it a little bloated though. Now with Bing, there's one huge thing that or two actually, that maybe you would want to consider them, because if you're a Microsoft user, number one, may work better with your other Microsoft services. Plus, there's the rewards program. You get points for the searches you make, and those rewards can be converted into gift cards. And I personally have used this search engine before, and it takes a while, but I've gotten about $25 worth of gift cards and other rewards. Like, you can enter contests, you can donate, so you can probably about 2 or 3 years have $25 to $30 just from searching. And you know, that might sound like a long time, but hey, you're not doing anything really, you're just searching. Now there's other incentives you can do to get more points, which I've done some of those, but anyway, that's a big reason you'll want to consider Bing, is because you can get rewards. So let's try searching something. It looks like they have voice search, so that's cool. You can search with an image like you can with Google. You can search for Apple. And like Google, they have shopping, images, videos, maps, news, more. So it looks a little different, but similar, a little similar design language to Google a little bit. There's news, there's quotes, even videos, but you can tell it looks different. But instead of having info about Apple Incorporated, they have info about an Apple store they think must be near me, which I'm not, probably because I have location stuff probably turned off. But anyway, that's how that works. Let's take a look at how the images look. Yeah, they're going mostly for Apple fruit instead of Apple logos. So that's Bing for you. It's just a basic look at things, but their search results are similar to Google, but like there's some different things like this, which I have no need for. So take that into consideration. But let's move on to the third search engine, Yahoo. Like I said, there's probably a couple ways you can access the search. Like they have a home page where you can search from that and find news, and they have sports, and they have other services like email, weather, of course, business stuff. But here's their just basic search. If the weather, and it says Bucks. I don't know what that's for. I don't live there, but you can try searching for Apple again. Okay, so they have a different look, but similar to Google and Bing. They all have, in the top right corner, they have all the stuff under the search bar, just some small things for looks. Like the search bar looks different, this bar looks different. This one has information about Apple like Google did. They have news and other things. Anyway, you can check out images and news and other things. They have different services like I just mentioned, but you'll want to turn on safe search for all these search engines, because stuff will probably come up that you don't want to see. Stuff still might filter through, but most of these top search engines have safe search features, and so that's great. So that's a little bit of Yahoo. Let's go to DuckDuckGo. Now this is if you're very privacy conscious, don't want yourself being tracked, and worry about people looking at, I don't know, data and things like that. And that's their main thing. They talk about some of that stuff. They don't collect your personal information. Don't follow you around with ads. We don't track you in private browsing mode. So privacy is for them. Great. We're going to search Apple and see what comes up. Okay, similar design language to Yahoo. A little different. They come up with this info box, news. Most of them have similar things. So far, maybe it's because I'm used to it the most, but Google is probably the cleanest, simplistic. Yeah, Bing's pretty good. The famous ones are probably the best looking. Maybe I'm kind of used to that, but let's move on to ask.com. You're probably not going to use this one as likely. It looks a little bloated, outdated. They have news stuff, but yeah, it looks kind of thrown together, if you know what I mean. There's trending articles and there's news. And then there's this thrown over here, and then there's this up here, and search for Apple. So maybe this is more for answer specific things, but just searching for Apple doesn't look too nice. You have related searches over here and here, like what's the point of that? Stuff looks small, you maybe could make it bigger. Overall, not impressive. Let's see if we can ask it a question. What's the weather in New York City? There's just web results. Not super impressive to me either. How many inches in a foot? This isn't impressive. They're just coming up with related search items and links and stuff. That's not impressive. But let's go to Ecosia. Their main thing is planting trees. You can see things happen because of your search, which is cool. Because normally it's just doing nothing, making other people money and helping you find results. But this does something else too. So they talk about it. It takes about around 45 searches to plant a tree. So you'll need, which will add up pretty fast. But let's try searching for something Apple again. See how it looks. So similar design language to Bing and others. And they want you to have your ad blocker off because their ad revenue is what helps plant their trees. They have information about Apple, not as much as some, but you have news and Apple. More impressive than Ask. I don't know why people still use Ask.com. Not impressed by them. But moving on to Ocean Hero, similar to Ecosia, but their mission is to save the earth by removing plastic, which is cool that they're doing something beneficial. They talk about plastic and things. Similar to Ecosia though, but for every 5 searches we pay the recovery of 1 ocean-bound plastic bottle. That's something to notice. Let's search for apple.com. Interesting looking page. If it's hard for you to read, you can turn that off, but it's kind of cool. But they have information about Apple, quite a bit actually. Videos and search results, news. But you may also want to turn ocean mode off if you can't see very well, and it looks basically the same as Google, which it's probably based off of. This information, it talks about Apple, and it has information about trade-in, which, what in the world does that have to do with Apple? But they have pictures of the apple fruit when they're talking about Apple trade-in partners, so that's kind of goofy. So this thing's a little goofy right here, but the other stuff is more impressive. So that's a great search engine. I'm gonna go to AOL. Pretty basic page, but there's multiple ways to access their search. Search for Apple. Like I said, all these search engines have similar design language, so you don't get too thrown off if you go from one to another. But they have info about stock, it looks like, company, news. Let's go to Excite and try something. They have multiple services, games, email, news, etc. Let's see if we just search Apple, what happens. Not impressive. See why this is not a popular search engine. Just comes up with web results. You can go to news, images, and videos, but moving on from that very quickly. Lycos, let's try searching Apple. They have graphics going by. It looks a little basic, but they're also not earning as much money as Bing and Google, so you have to remember that with all the lower guys. But pretty basic. Looks a little outdated. Kind of like Excite, you know why they're not famous. They just come up with search results. It looks basic, but that's that for you. So we're going to do a round 2 and test more complicated search, like how many inches in a foot, which isn't complicated, but we'll see if they have some easy answer for us. And they have info right at the beginning. This is Google. You can change the converter, so it's a whole nice converter. Temperature, speed, pressure, tells you 12 inches. You can change the amount on the page without researching. And there's the formula, so that's impressive. I would expect that from the biggest, I should say. I'm going to search for that again. And Bing, similar to Google, they have formula. They can convert, just it looks a little different. So that's awesome. Yahoo, let's see how they react. They give you the answer, but it's not a converter. It's nice they give it though. But if you want a converter, if you wanted to change stuff. But that's nice they at least give the answer. Let's search in DuckDuckGo now. DuckDuckGo, nice. It gives you the answer plus has a converter again. No formula, but that's alright. Most people aren't going to use that anyway. But we already checked Asked and not impressive at all. They just have links for you. Let's go to Ecosia. They just give you the answer, no converter. Ocean Hero, let's go to now. They give you a calculator, that's interesting. And they give you the answer. That's interesting. Let's go to AOL. And they don't know how to answer how many inches in a foot. So that's not impressive one bit. Let's go to Excite. And I'm not expecting a lot from these lower guys. As you see, my browser says it's not secure. They just give search results. Not impressive. Wasn't expecting a whole lot from them either. Let's go to Lycos. And they just give search results too. So that's interesting. Not impressive. Not how you want to stay alive. So as you can see, there's a continuation with similar things with these search engines. The big guys and the upcoming ones, they have better results. Like Google and Bing, they give you, now they're the biggest, they make more money, but they also give you more helpful information. They give you converter and stuff like that, whereas the small guys, you know why they're small, because they just give you a bunch of links and it's like, what in the world? That's not helpful. AOL was especially kind of stupid. They didn't even give you any links. Like, what on earth? You guys used to be one of the biggest search engines or biggest companies. Yahoo gave you the answer. They didn't give you a converter, which that's alright, way better than some of these others that gave you nothing. DuckDuckGo gave you a converter. Ask just gave you results. Ecosia gave you the answer. Ocean Hero gave you plus a calculator. That's a little interesting, but way better. AOL, Excite, and Lycos and Ask definitely failed that. Ecosia gave you the answer. So did Ocean Hero. So did Yahoo. But Google, Bing, and DuckDuckGo, and kind of Ocean Hero gave you a way to change your change the numbers you're putting in. So take that for that. Now the round 3, there's these search engines can do some fun things. Like Google you can say do a barrel roll and they'll do a special trick for you. So you can call that an Easter egg. You can do a skew, make the page askew, so that they have some fun things. Easter eggs, I guess you'd call them. But you can even tell it to flip a coin. They can do a lot of stuff. You can have a calculator. And I'm guessing Bing can do some of these things too. Yep, I spelled it wrong and they still came up with it. Yahoo did, that's great. DuckDuckGo did. Ask did not. Not impressive whatsoever. Ecosia, that's a little surprising. They don't have one, but they talk about it. Not just links at least, but that's interesting. Surely Ocean Hero will have it since they had this one. Yep, they have one, that's cool. So they're better than their Ecosia neighbors. And AOL has one, well, but they couldn't tell you how many inches were in a foot, so that was stupid, but at least they have a calculator. And with Excite, they always open a new tab, so maybe you can turn it off, but it's kind of annoying. But they just come up with links, so not impressive. Lycos, let's see if they can redeem themselves at all. And they just come up with links. So as you can see, the small guys, the small older guys, they don't really have great results. Ask.com, Excite, Lycos, and even AOL, they're all kind of not impressive. Like, if you search like a question like how many inches in a foot, those four just gave you links or nothing at all, so that wasn't impressive. And when you search for a special tool like a calculator, only AOL gave you an actual calculator. So the smaller search engines that don't have as much money, maybe they can't fund that, but that's also not impressive and doesn't make people want to switch to them. So I wouldn't recommend Excite very much. They have other things, so you'll have to check that out, but most of these search engines have other features, so Excite, I'd kind of rule that out. Same with Lycos. AOL, unless you're an AOL user, I wouldn't move to them. Ocean Hero, they had some impressive things. Like they brought up a calculator, they were able to tell you how many inches in a foot. They didn't have a converter, but can't have everything, I guess. They look very similar to Google. Take that in mind. I think they may be based off of them. Some of these search engines are based off of each other. Like a lot are based off of Bing and Google, the two big ones. So this Ocean Hero is probably based on Google. It looks almost the same. Yep, it has all these Google stuff. But they have an ocean mode, which is cool. So I would do Ocean Hero if you like Google, but you're conscious about the environment. You want to prevent plastic from going into the ocean, so I do it if you're self-conscious for the environment. Ecosia, they're based off of Bing, I think. They look fairly similar. Their results are okay. They didn't have a calculator, but they did tell you how many inches were in a foot though. They gave you the answer, just not a converter. Ask.com, I wouldn't recommend them. They didn't come up with very good results. They're outdated looking. They're not a highly favorite of mine. Back to Ecosia. Get them if you're conscious about the environment and trees. They gave fairly good answers. Not perfect, obviously. They didn't come up with a calculator when I asked for one, but now to DuckDuckGo. They were a great search engine, and they're good if you're very conscious about your privacy. They also have good results. It looks similar to Bing a little bit, if you like that look, of course. Good answers, good tools. Now to Yahoo. Get them if you're a Yahoo user, maybe. For simplicity reasons, they had fairly good results, a calculator and answers to questions and links. Yahoo's still a good engine. And Bing if you're a Microsoft user, and if you like the rewards, and if you the ability to donate just by searching, which is cool. Get them if you're a Microsoft user, and if you like the ability to donate and get rewards. So they're a great one. Google is the best one for most people because it's most of the time it's the default search engine, and they have good results and clean look and simplistic modern look. Great tools, great answers, clean. Probably not as privacy minded as DuckDuckGo or the others, so remember that. But anyway, they're probably one of the best ones. Google and Bing are pretty great search engines. Google's more clean and simplistic, and it's great for Google users and most people. Has great results, tools, etc. These are the top ones I would choose from. Google if you're a Google user, just an average user. It has the best results and tools for the most part. They have a clean look and simplistic look. They probably are my first choice. Privacy is not my first choice. Bing is probably second choice. You can earn rewards. They have great results and tools. Great for Microsoft users. And if you want to have rewards. Yahoo, great if you're a Yahoo user probably. They're still an okay search engine. Good results. They did give me the answer of how many inches in a foot. DuckDuckGo is a great one. Get that if you're very privacy conscious. They have great results and the look is fine. Ecosia and Ocean Hero, get them if you're conscious about the environment. They look similar to Google and Bing. I think Ecosia is based off of Bing and Ocean Hero is based off of Google. Their search results and answers to your questions weren't quite as good, but they support the environment. Now for Lycos, Excite, and Ask and AOL, I don't recommend them. They didn't do a very good job of answering my questions and giving me tools and results, so I wouldn't recommend them. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it was a help to you. Sorry if the audio wasn't the best at all times, but I hope it was a help to you in helping you decide which is the best search engine. And thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and thank you for helping me reach 85. That's really awesome. I'm getting close to 100, so let's do it. Thank you. Goodbye.